All right, guys, welcome back to the training, and we have Arup here today, right? I told you in the Slack that he managed to find an offer, and I remember that last week when I was discussing, many people basically told me that they are really not finding too much time to go through the 3 videos that I'm releasing every week. So I thought, okay, let me bring in someone who recently found a job. There are many other guys who got a job, got an offer, but I couldn't get a time from them. But yeah, Arup is joining the new company on 22nd. That is this coming Monday. Once again, congrats, Arup. Do you want to
Sure.
quickly come on video and just introduce yourself, if possible?
Do you want me to turn on the camera? Yeah.
Yeah, do you have it?
Okay. 2 seconds. Yeah. 2 seconds.
Sure.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Go on.
Can you see me, right?
Yeah.
Hi, all. So I'll just be very quick on this. Like Shavik said that, yeah, I don't know what mindset you all have. Like, I will tell you about my journey when I started here. Back in September 2020, it was like a bit of confusion where what to go ahead and not. But once I decided to go ahead with this course, I had only one thing. Usually, I used to get confused a lot, like what exactly to follow or not. I just maintained one thing from September 2020, that whatever Shavik is going to teach us, I will blindly follow that. And that's the exact principle I followed. And trust me, guys, it works. It really works. And there are loads of things. And like Shavik said, that we were not getting time. I think each one of us are busy. If I tell you about my situation, I was also working in a retail store as sales assistant while doing my masters, and it was completely occupied. And with that, I managed to study this course as well, and it was really helpful. And a kind of point will reach that there will be like kind of frustration at some point of time and disappointment, that I don't know at what stage you guys are. Like, if you are applying for it now, maybe you will not get your application, like you will not get interview calls, or your resume, it's like my inbox was flooded with unfortunate and regret mails. But time to time it changes, and one suggestion which I would give you is, at the end of the course, Shavik will review your resume, and just try to make best use of it. And once you are done with the complete course, there are loads of technical terms that you will be familiar with. Try to utilize all those in your resume. And one big advice which I would give you is, there is a site called JobScan. Uh, Whichever role you're applying for, don't just blindly apply it. Try to, first compare your resume with the job description in JobScan, and try to match it with, nearly 80%. Trust me, I was not getting calls earlier, but once I modified my resume, and now, by the end of the course, you will have loads of knowledge. And now you can see, like Shavi would have shown you, like complete structure of the complete syllabus that we'll be covering in this course. At the end of the course, you will get familiarized with everything and how each thing are interlinked to each other. That will immensely boost up your confidence, and you will be in a position to, share your experience and relate whatever you have learned into your interview, and everything works out. Recently, like, I got many interview calls, to be honest, but there was a time when I was crying and to my friends that I'm not getting any interview calls. But even last week I got loads of interview calls. Even yesterday, Shavik, there was one more company called Capgemini.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So
Mm.
yeah, so I cleared the first stage, and
Awesome.
second call was over, and then they mailed me yesterday for the final round. But they were like only working for 9 to 5, the interview,
Hmm.
and they were asking for next Tuesday. So anyway,
Right.
I'll be joining. So I just dropped a mail to them. Sorry, I'm not available anymore. So
That's great. That's great. I would really expect that everyone who are here right now, if you guys can actually talk to him, because he recently found an offer. So I think he is in the right position to kind of give you guys the right understanding of how he prepared himself for the training. I'm not talking about the job because we just got started like a month back. So I'm not really expecting you to be in that stage to, you can get an offer, but to actually get started with the training. So everyone over here, Shoaib and then Pratik and Pankaj, everyone, could you please go on and ask direct questions to Arup, and that will really 1 minute. Yeah, I think you can hear me now. So I think if you guys can ask him questions, and he will be able to answer you. I will not take more than 15 minutes today in this, and that will really give you some understanding of how to go about it. Uh, Anyone, Pankaj or Shoaib, you want to have a word with him?
Arupa, is it okay if we send you LinkedIn invite and we can connect with you? And
absolutely fine, no problem in that. Yeah.
yeah,
Perfect. Do you have any questions, specific questions, Shoaib? You had some specific questions last week about your training schedule and how to really manage the time. I really want you to,
yeah.
uh, you know,
In terms of the training videos is fine. Like on weekly basis, the new training which Sovik makes us available for us to view and go through this. How did you get time to revise like a month down the line to revise what you had in first week? So what was your preparation on that? How did you do that?
See, usually, whenever we study, sometimes we feel like, okay, we will do this portion later or something. From day one, week one, you have to be very serious towards the course and whatever assignment, the way he has designed the assignments, just be serious about it. To be honest, whatever he has given the assignment, I was very prompt in that in doing. Like the Saturday class should never be your first class of the week. It should always be the revision class. It should always be like, yes, I have studied everything, and you should be ready with a bunch of questions. If you follow this thing, and if you are asking like after like today, if you want to do the revision for the first week whatever you have done, to be honest with you, if you are doing the assignments thoroughly and you are understanding the concept then and there, it won't take much time for you to go and revisit. How did I manage it? I have gone through the PPTs are in the exact replica of whatever he has taught in the class. So once you go through the PPT, you will get remind of the concept and the programs that you have done. For example, there will be inheritance. It will immediately bring you to the class, that car class, whatever you will be mentioning. You won't believe I have given the same example in my interview as well.
awesome, awesome, very good.
And it was very, Shavik, did they cover interface by now?
Not yet. No, 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 no.
Okay,
It's just the
okay,
first
okay.
month now. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So there will be a lot of things which he will be teaching. No, you just have to relate. If you have a prior experience in testing anything, you can completely relate that. And the theoretical aspect that is covered in the PPT, trust me, guys, whatever PPT is there, maybe at some first point you won't, analyze the importance of it. Once you go through the course, again, just go through the PPT twice, thrice. Every time you will find something different, and then you will notice, yes, this is very useful. There are a lot of theoretical aspect and Java set of questions. Like each interview I gave, there is a set of Java questions which is covered in our course in this Wisdom QA. It will be easier for you. And one more thing, Shabik, I gave one more interview which I'm waiting for the result as well. First
Hmm.
round was over, and second round was codility test. So
Codility. Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that was wonderful experience. I
Yeah.
personally liked it. Codility was having three stages.
Yeah.
Two were completely into MCQ, and the third was programming. And programming was also a bit simple, to be honest. It's not that tough.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it gets challenging, very challenging if you go for hacker rank.
Mhm.
Those kind of questions are pretty challenging. You guys will get there. I don't want to really pressurize the batch by adding in more and more stuff into it. So you guys will get there where you can solve the hacker rank problems, because that is something that will eventually come in, not this stage, but later on it'll come in. Thank you for your questions. Yeah, Omotola, please go on.
Yes, please. Arup, thank you for sharing your experience, Arup. One question I have is how you were working with your assignments. Like, for example, each week we have about 3 videos. Do you like watch all 3 videos first, or watch one video? And I mean, like, how were you working with the videos, the PPT, and the assignments, like in a per week basis?
So first, to be honest, I first download the assignment. I read out the question. With that question, you will get the idea, and then I start with the video. I always tend to do that first. Like class one is there. Class one, I will complete the video and I will immediately focus on the assignments. Start doing the assignment. It will happen that all the question I will not be able to solve that. Back then again, I will have the idea fair enough by now, like in which like after how much time in the video I can get this portion, and I will complete one assignment. I will not be rushed towards, by completing all the 3 videos. It was more not of quantity focus, it was of more quality focus. If 2 videos also, if I'm finishing, I will finish it perfectly fine, doing all the assignments, and I will just list down the questions that I need to ask either Shavik on class or Gagan. Book a call with Gagan. He is he has given me immense support now and then, and like don't think of any question that may sound silly. I even now I ask some stupid question, I know that, but it's always beneficial, and just take the support. There are a lot of support, and I would
So
suggest you that
how
was.
much time you were actually spending in this 5 days time? How much
Mhm.
you actually spend to prepare yourself for the Saturday class? How much time did you spend actually altogether, including assignments, including your classes, everything?
um I I would say, approximately 2 to 3 hours per day would be like, I wouldn't say like 2 to 3 hours per day was like sure short. Like I was working nearly full time. Just imagine like working in a store where you will physically get tired after coming to home. You have to. There was no other. My mind was set. Have to work on this assignments, and then again, for daily life, you have to cook food for your own. So to answer your question, Shavik, I would say 2 to 3 hours, but weekend I was stretching, to be honest.
Hmm. Yeah,
After Saturday's class also, good thing is Saturday
yeah,
class will be there on morning itself, it will be fine.
yeah,
Just take a break in noon and then evening again start. Sunday I will utilize completely.
yeah,
Like that.
yeah.
Since
Even I think Keith is using the same strategy, right, Keith? Where you are getting started earlier, right, during the weekend.
Yeah, like after the class on Saturday, I'll take a break and then I'll get a good head start, get at least through one class on the Saturday and maybe try some assignments, and then
Perfect.
utilize as much of the day as possible on Sunday because during the week after work you will be tired and you'll end up
yeah,
falling behind. So you
yeah,
have
Hmm.
to use that time to get a head start and it
yeah,
puts you in a good position then for the rest of the week.
yeah.
That's right.
Try,
That's right.
try, try to continue means that's what my strategy was. It doesn't require to be the perfect one. Like I was completely focusing to finish it bit early. Few of the weeks it was like on Wednesday itself everything was done. And few of the weeks it happened that when Jason and all came, and I couldn't able to finish all the 3 videos, and that was fine, no problem in that.
And
I was.
also, you remember that time and again, I said that okay, you don't have to rush it, and I can give a
Yeah,
pause in
yeah,
the class so that you
yeah,
guys can get a time to kind of
yeah,
practice.
yeah,
That also happened, right?
yeah, yeah.
So we are not rushing towards
Hmm,
completing the course. We are there
hmm,
to help. It's
hmm,
just that you have to be focused from day one, and that's the
hmm,
main thing. You cannot think that okay, I am just going to leave this portion later on, because I have seen that when you say I will later on, I'll come back. So you basically come back next day and start from square one. That's not what you want to do. You want to really give that 2-3 hours solid and finish it off, and then get out of it. So Bino, I think you just did your masters exactly like Arup, right? So there are some students here as well, Arup. So I think Bino, if you have any questions, you can please go on.
Yeah, Savik. Arup, like I also do part time, but I get time to study this. The point is like how do you solve the answers, like, when you are in the beginning stage, you're trying to learn, everything. So it is, I found it like, now I'm getting used to it, but in the beginning, like when I told last week, I was finding it hard to solve few answers, like, so how did you do that? And, how can you like expect, I don't think like everything goes in the same way, so I just wanted to know how you did that.
The good thing about Shauvik's video, which I would say, was he was doing practically and from the scratch. So while looking at the video, I will not be just staring at the video. Whatever he is teaching, in that if he is writing public void in Eclipse in the video, I will also write in my Eclipse, and we'll try to understand what he is trying to make us understand. So by doing this, no, you will get more clarity about it, and you will see that most of the thing which you have learned, once you look into the assignment question, many things would have already been covered in that. And there will be, you will get to know what all amendments further you have to do for the completion of it. So don't just take the video lectures as like normal video lectures, how we used to see just in one stretch. Just give a pause, try it in the Eclipse, try, even if it is a summation of a number, try it on your own. You will get some error, you will get more clarity, note down the errors that you are getting. Don't, like Shavik said, don't be in a rush of finishing. Don't look for the quantity, just go with the quality. Set of questions. Trouble Shavik and Gagan with questions. They're always ready to help.
Yeah,
Awesome.
sure. Thank you so much.
No
And all the
problem.
best. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Awesome. Anyone else? I'll just ask Arup to kind of finish off soon. So if you have any other questions, please shoot, because
Yeah.
I really want everyone to
Hi, Shovik.
be. Yeah, hi, Pankaj. Go on, please.
Yes, I just want to say congratulations to Arup for
Thank you
his
so
Oh,
new
much.
job. Yeah,
awesome.
yes, yes.
Awesome.
And I'm facing one problem. Like sometime I try some kind of like program, automation program. Sometime I stuck on one point and it takes like, it took at least 10 to 15 minutes sometime if I try to do from my own. So I'm facing this problem. Like, so I need, so what I do, like I see your video and then I match my program to your program and then I sorted out the thing. So I'm just facing this kind of problem. Like maybe it's I'm just new in this thing. Maybe after some time, maybe I
So,
will.
are you
Yeah.
completely new to automation?
And then no, I'm
I
just
mean, programming in
programming. Yes,
yeah.
programming. Yes.
Are you new? Totally new, right, Pankaj?
Yeah, I'm totally new. Yes.
What
Don't
about
worry
you,
about
Arup? When
completely new.
you were absolutely new, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's what I'm saying, Pankaj. That's why I was just listening to you. Don't worry about it. Let you are telling 10 to 15 minutes. It happened that I was doing something at night. I couldn't able to get it. My head got stuck, and I just shut it down and wait for the next day. It's okay. It's taking time, and you are learning something new. It's okay. Like now it's taking time. Eventually, you will get to know what all errors you are getting, and like consecutively, if the same thing will not repeat, so don't rush for it. I'm not
The
getting it.
point is
Don't
that
be
when
impatient.
you start seeing exceptions, right, over and over again, it kind of sits on your head that, okay, I know that why this exception is coming, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to access a file and then it suddenly gives you an exception and you get scared by looking at those red lines. But
Yeah.
actually, once you see into it, you will see that, okay, maybe my file itself is not readable, or maybe the file path is wrong. So it gives you a file not found exception. And then you know how to fix it or where to fix it, right? So it kind of sits on your mind when you start practicing, as or Arup was saying, right? He was looking at my video and at the same time he was doing it. So that's where the hands-on part comes in. It is not something like that. These videos are not something that you can watch in your YouTube or in your when you go in a tube and you want to watch it while you're taking a journey from here to there. It's not a video like that. It's a practical session. You have to mimic it when you learn it,
Yeah.
so that you can get the best out of it, right? So
And
that's
one
what I
thing I
felt.
would like to add, like Shavik has already told in the class, once you're getting error, try to investigate. If it is not, there are loads of open platform. Go to Stack Overflow, just Google it, and you will get some or the other solution.
The point
Yeah.
is that every developer does that, right? I mean, you are stuck we get into the Google, we look at Stack Overflow and figure it out. So what I generally do is I look at Stack Overflow and I see one blog, right? And I see different solution. You will probably see something like this in Stack Overflow. If the solution is correct, you will see a red, you will see a green tick on that, right? So some people will take a look into that and then they will probably just copy and paste that part and then leave. I don't do that. I also see other solutions in that blog to figure it out how well I can match it. It doesn't mean that if that solution is right, that is the solution that I will take. Probably I will not take that. I will take something else. So I do some research on that, maybe 10-15 minutes, and figure it out what is the best solution for me, and then I use that. But yeah, Googling is something that you have to get into it, right? It should be your bread and butter. It should be in your blood,
Thank you so much. Thank you, Shavik. Thank you, Arup. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Perfect. I think that's pretty much that I wanted to really cover. If there is any other questions, please get in touch with Arup in LinkedIn. I can share his profile in the chat. Also, it's there. I have added his video here in the summary. I mean, in the review section. So you click on this link, and that will take you to LinkedIn, right? So yeah, get in touch with him if you want to. Probably they will little bug you, or whoever sees this video will little bug you if you just can't really give your 2 cents, right?
No problem.
Perfect. Thanks for your time, man. I don't want to keep you engaged today in the class. So have a great week ahead. And I know day after tomorrow you're joining. So yeah, enjoy, man. Enjoy.
Thank you. And
I'm really happy for you, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Shavik.
Take care, man. Take care. Bye-bye.
All the best, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, perfect. So let me just quickly, I think, what do you think, guys? This session was right? I mean, I think by hearing from Arup directly, probably it is giving you a little bit of more confidence. Do you think so? Yes, no? Sorry, yes, no?
Yeah, it's good. It was good to hear from someone who did the course.
Yeah.
And it was successful.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, so let me just stop the video and I'll get a little relaxed. Let's get started. So where do I start from? I start from polymorphism and runtime polymorphism, okay? I'll come to whatever week 4 we have spoken about, but before that, as I said, let's not rush and cover things properly. Okay, so in week 3, we were talking about, not this, right? I was talking about runtime polymorphism, understanding constructors, overloading, runtime polymorphism, those kind of things. So I'll quickly go about that and then I'll go to absolute Xpath, right? So let's see. Okay. I covered all of it. Inheritance, I covered it. I remember that. Okay, not in this one. Class 9, right? Okay, constructor I started. I wanted to talk about overloading and I wanted to talk about overriding. Just a second. Good. Method overloading. Okay, so what exactly is this? It clearly means that you can have multiple different implementation of a function, and you can keep the function name as same. Ideally, what it is trying to say is that the signature of the function can be different. I mean, should be different to make them stay in the same place. So if you look at this section over here, what am I saying? I'm saying I have a simple class called a sum class. In the sum class, I have a method called sum. And this sum method is doing what? What it is doing is it's just accepting two arguments, only two arguments, int a and int b, or x and y, and then just returning back the summation of it, just like that, returning back the summation of it. So the point is, if you look at this particular portion, the one that I am right now highlighting, this portion, the parameterization is the section that makes it different, makes the method unique. You can see I am giving another method, keeping another method here, same name, sum. In here, I have three parameters, x, y, and z, and they are different because they are able to coexist because the number of parameter is different from here and here, right? That's the reason why they can coexist. Please understand, only two things matters to make a method overloaded method. Number one, I will not say, yeah, two things. Number of parameters, params, number of params to type of params. There are three of them, sorry. Type of params. And third, order of params. Params type, I would say. What do I mean by that? Okay, I have explained this in the video, but I will anyway go ahead and make it one more time easier for you to understand. So I'll just go and open up my Eclipse, and I'll say new Java project. So week 4 summary class, week 4 summary class. New package and test Java. Good. Now what do? I'm gonna say new class, and let's say test Java again with the main method. Without a main method, let me do that. All right. In here, I'm going to keep three parameters or three methods: public. Actually, you know what? I'll just quickly rename this to refactor. Rename this to sum up. Right. That's it. And I'll say public void. Okay. Add simple stuff, int a plus int b, comma int b, and I say that I want to just simply print out sysout. I want to print out a plus b, so I'll just say sum is the string, and I say sum plus, because I'm appending, and I'll say a plus b as a summation. Very simple stuff, which will print out the value. That's number one. Second, what I can do is I can say public void again, or not void, I'll say int add, and here I'm saying int a, int dot dot dot, and let's give the variable name as params. This is what? That's a simple var args. Very good. So what I do, I say int result equals 0. I say for each loop, I say int num comma params colon params, and I say I want to iterate this, and I'm going to say result. You know why I'm doing this. Result equals result, or result equals num plus result, right? What will it do? It will simply keep on incrementing it and keep on adding the value inside the result until it exhausts. Once it's all done, I want to return back, return result. That's it. That's my second guy, second method, totally fine. Look at the situation where I am saying that only the parameters are different, right? The parameters are different. That makes them stay together. It doesn't really matter whether you have it void here or you have it int here. It doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. I can have, you can see something that is, if I just go back here and copy this program one more time and paste it again, and this time I will say it as void, right? I made it as void. Okay, you see, I'm still getting the problem saying duplicate method exists, right? However, if I just simply add int, or not int here, not here. Yeah, okay, can someone tell me why can't I add it like int num here? Why can't I do that? Can someone tell me that?
This is the array.
Which is
It
the array?
has to go before the params. You have to
Exactly,
your
exactly,
int prior to
exactly, exactly. Very good, very good, very good. Yes. So params as a var args must be the last param in the method. Something like this. This will be acceptable. This is acceptable. Okay. Now I'm not getting any error over here. Okay, let me not give it num. I'll say a, right? So I'm not getting any error over here, but I'm getting an error here saying, okay, there is no return, obviously, because I said it has a void. So return will not be there. So I just remove this. Now you see, this is existing together. This is existing along with this. So what is the situation I said?
Sorry, Souvik,
Yeah.
I think your headset is still, again, it's an issue. When you're speaking, it's making some noise.
Okay, hang on. Let me change it. Hold on. Hold on. Can you guys hear me now? Is it better?
Yep.
Okay. So what am I saying? I'm saying about the overloading. As I said, you can keep the number of parameters different, and that is what it will make you different than the other one. Okay, other method. Also, always remember one thing, even the order of parameter matters. Meaning, you see, I'm saying, again, that's similar stuff like this. Here, both of these guys are int and int. However, if I say something like this, I say int a, instead of int a, I'll say string a, string a, string a, okay? And I'm trying to add a string with a number. Obviously, it will never work. So I'm going to use something here. I'm going to say string dot parse dot value of, my bad, it should be an integer, because I want to convert that to an integer, right? Integer dot parse int, and in the parse int I'm going to pass on the a, because a is an int, a is a string, but I want to convert that to an int so that I can add an int with another int.
right? So you see, this order is fine. This is also fine. And now what I'll do, I'll simply copy this and put it back here. Immediately I'm getting an error. However, I just simply change the order. It's really stupid. It isn't, I would not have an explanation that why it works, but it works. Even the order, you see, I'm exactly doing the same thing. I just change the order of my parameters, and even then it is a successful overloaded method. So that is what you have to keep in your mind when you're discussing about overloading: number of parameters, type of parameters, and in which order they are added as a parameter. That also matters. Only the three things. Return type doesn't matter. Okay, that's the end of overloading story. Let's go on. Go to the next one. What is overriding? Okay, very good. Now that we understand overloading, we actually can take a look at overriding, because overriding is another situation where inheritance concept is needed for you to really figure it out what's going on. Meaning what? Meaning, if you remember my description in the middle of the week where I was talking about all this situation where I was saying, okay, I have a student, and in the student class, I had a constructor, and I have some method like start class and end class, right? And then I said, I'm going to have another class called Maria. Maria is going to extend to students, and then Maria can have her own method called start dancing. I told you that. Here I'm getting the error. You know why I'm getting the error? Because these variables were made private, if you remember that. Okay, so that is something that we have to figure it out. What we can do is we can simply make them as protected, and then that should be fine. Just say protected. I mean, for now, don't really quote me on this. I'm just going to make them protected so that I can continue the discussion. Protected. All right, all good. Now what do? I say Maria, and then I get everything accessed over here. All good. Now the point is, I'm talking about overriding. So there is already a method existing in students class called start class and end class. I have already these two methods in here. Just a second. Okay, so these methods, if as a child of the parent class, if I am not happy to use the existing method, if I'm not happy to use the existing method, then I can go ahead and override it. I can go ahead and override it. So what I'll do is I'll just have another method here. Maybe I'll say public void. Let me give a method name as, say, start assignments, and here I can give assignment for which particular topic. So I can say string topic. Okay, and I'm just going to copy it here, and then I'm going to say sys out, and I'm going to say start the assignment for a particular topic, for topic colon plus topic. Perfect. That's my simple method here. Start assignment. Okay. Now what do? Now what do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm not, as a child of a student class, Maria is not really happy about the implementation. Understand this, the implementation of the method. She is not happy about the implementation of this method. So now she can go ahead and perform a overriding. There's a difference between overloading and overriding. Whatever I just spoke about here called overloading. Here, You're trying to create multiple different flavors of the same method. I mean, by keeping the method name as common, as same, you're trying to create multiple different method implementation or method flavors. You can say that, right? Here, in case of overriding, that is not the case. Here, the overriding can only work for a situation where there is a parent and a child relationship existing. That's number one. Second thing, you have to figure it out. That is, as a child, if I'm not happy, the use case is different than the overloading. Here, the child is not happy with the implementation of the existing method. You know what? Just give me 1 minute. I'll switch off my fan. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. So what I'm saying here is that start this assignment for topic, right? This implementation is not happy. I mean, Maria is not happy with the implementation. So what Maria can do is Maria can simply go back here and she can try to override it. When you're trying to override, you have to make sure that you are absolutely keeping the method in the same form, however it is described in the parent class. What do I mean by same form? Meaning you just copy the whole piece, bring it back to your Maria method, Maria class. And as soon as I did that, you see, I see a small triangle over here. Do you see that? And it says overrides test Java, that's a package, students, that's the class, and start assignment, that's the method, right? So I'm overriding that method. Now you will ask me, what's the benefit? The benefit is I can now remove the entire implementation just like that. And I can give my own implementation to it. But this will only work out, understand this, this will only work out if and only if you keep the form of the method same as described in the parent. That's where the overriding works. Is that clear to everyone? There's a difference between overloading and overriding. Any questions for me? I can go ahead and
Yes.
go on, please.
Like if, for example, if for example I have the same method and I add, for example, in the argument an integer. Sorry.
That's okay, no problem.
That will be overriding, not overloading, right? If I would add another argument.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with inheritance.
Yes, yes. Just wanted to clear it out because if
So
we
here
use
you
the
can
same.
see that I have in the overloading situation, this is my add method and I have two of these parameters, int a and int b. And I just wanted to make it work for me in terms of I want to have another method. You see here, so understand the use case, right? Here I'm trying to add two numbers. Add two numbers, right? Add two numbers. Here, I want to add a number to a number that is formatted as a string. That is formatted as a string. You see that? You see the use case itself is different. Now I will say this guy and this guy are overloaded, or any of the other methods here, they are overloaded. You see here, I don't have any situation with inheritance whatsoever, right? Is that making sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Now, in case of students, I have added a new method called start assignment. Now, Maria is not happy with this method, so she just simply trying to create her own method, saying, I don't know, sys out Maria will never ever do assignments. How about that? I can go ahead and I can override it. That's the difference.
Yes, yes, but you explained that it has to be exactly the same structure. right? Like,
In
for
case of
example, we have the,
overriding, in case of overriding.
in case of overriding. So if, for example, Maria doesn't use exactly the same structure and adds
And it
an
is,
extra argument,
yeah. So
what will happen?
yeah, try it out. Try it out. Just like that. I'm having another method. Okay. And then I'm going to say string or int num. Okay. You see, I can keep this method and this method together because now they are overloaded in the same class. You understand?
Yes.
I can keep them together, no problem at all. Here, it's a good question, very good question. That is, this part of the method is a overridden method coming out of the parent class. That's perfectly fine. And here in this case, this method is an overloaded method to the overridden method. Is that clear to everyone? Very, very simple. Yes, no, maybe, confusion?
Yeah, that's clear.
Okay, good.
So I have a question. So Maria isn't happy with that method that she's taken from the parent. So she's changing what the method actually does to override it.
Yeah.
What's the benefit of that? I know, why would Maria not just create a new class called Start Assignments Maria? Or not a new class, sorry, a new method rather than overriding the parent one. Why is it needed?
This is just an example that I'm giving you, but you have to understand something. For example, a method that is there as a part of, okay, for example, I'm giving us a real life example. So maybe you have a method saying, let me try to draw it. Maybe you have a parent class, say, hold on. The parent class is called as utility. I'm not happy with the color. So utility, okay, that's a class. As a part of the utility class, you have created multiple different utility functions like access files, okay, or read files, or read text files, read text files, or read text from file, right? Now, as a part of this method, read text from file, right? This is one method. This is another method like send email. It's a utility method as well. So you have a class called as utility class, and in that utility class you have multiple different methods. Send email, another method, perfectly fine. Now, what is the situation here is that suppose you have created another class, meaning you have created a class called as sub-utility. I'm just saying sub-utility. Sub-utility, right? As a part of sub-utility is extending from utility, just like that. So which means sub-utility can have some specific method, and it can also borrow some method from utility class. Like sub-utility can have some specific method that the sub-utility method can class can use. On top of that, it can borrow some methods like send email and other methods that are existing in utility class. However, sub-utility is not really happy with the method called as read text from file. It is not happy. So now it can go on and can say, I mean, from the read text from file, you are probably just accessing .txt extension. You're just this method is just accessing the data from a .txt extension, but sub-utility wants to have a method where it can access the data from read text from file. The method is so dynamic, it wants to create a method that can read from text file, from PDF file, from doc file, .excel file, XLSX, right? This method is much ahead of the utility method. Now, just by simply overriding the method, which is read text from file, it can easily incorporate all these different situations into it. This is a real life situation that I can give you. Is that making sense?
Yeah, so the reason why you're overriding the original one is because you want to take some functionality from that, but maybe add to it.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't understand why you wouldn't just create a new one if you're going to make it totally different anyway. Why
Yeah.
you would need to inherit it in the first place. You know,
Well,
but
Keith, if I could add to the discussion, I think the main advantage of it is reusage of methods and further the line the maintains of it.
So think about it. For example, if I'm creating an object of subutility, okay, subutility, and util equals new utility, subutility, right? Now, in this situation, what I can do is I can just simply go on and I can say util dot read text from file, right? Right? What it will do, it will just go ahead and it will pull the information from the sub utility class where it is already having the dot text method which came out of the utility class. Along with that, it is also now capable of accessing other features. That's why it is needed. Is that making sense? On the other hand, if you're just creating an object of utility class, you will always get the access to read the text from .txt file only. Is that making sense? Yes, no?
yeah, it makes sense.
Cool. Yeah, sorry to cut you there. Could you please complete that? I'm so sorry. It was Avril, is it?
No, so it
Agatha.
was
Yeah,
me,
Agatha.
Agatha. So
Yeah,
I
go
was
on.
just addressing this Keith question from a practical side. So from the practical side, I think the most benefit of it is just reusage, and then further down the line, less maintains. So basically, let's imagine a scenario: you have to update your read text from file method. Then all of the classes that inherits from this class will get it for free, a kind of like the new signature.
Yeah, but that will be done in the utility method, not the sub-utility method, right?
Yes, but I think the question that Keith asked was why instead of creating a new method called something else, we use the concept of
You're right. Yes.
overriding and overloading.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was confusing me was if you're going to change everything about the original class, then why use the original class in the first place? But if you're actually taking some of the stuff that the original class does, but add to it, then it makes sense.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it is. Perfect. Awesome. Everybody else, are you guys clear? I'm not hearing from Frey and Kevin and Marty. Are you guys okay? Okay, all right. Pratik, not hearing from you. I know you're also starting new. Are you guys okay? All right, perfect. So that's that. Okay, cool. You have any questions, Kevin? Are you okay?
I'm having system problems today, but yeah, I'm fine. Yes, I think I'm keeping up.
Okay, cool. That's good. So that is where the overriding concept starts or finishes. Now let me go to the next one. Here, we're talking about runtime polymorphism. This is a little different than what we have seen so far. Okay, so let's try to understand the theory part of it. I'll open up my paint and we will try to draw something. Meaning I have Come on. Here, okay. So I have a class, meaning a car class, and I have a Mercedes class. Okay, perfectly fine. In here, car class, I have few stuff like brand, like model, and I have a method called start engine, right? Or start car, something like that. Okay. Mercedes is obviously extending from car, just like that. As I have told you in the midweek class, that is, when I'm having this kind of situation, we are going to write, we can say Mercedes is of type car. Mercedes is of type car. That's what we can say. So if I can say that, then we can write, or we can instantiate the object of car class in a different way. Now, so far we have seen something. We have seen that either I can go ahead and I can create an object of car directly, car Mercedes equals new car. We can create the instance of the car just like that, car Mercedes equals new car. We can either do that, and we can say Mercedes dot brand. We can set that brand equals Mercedes, and model equals say I don't know, class C, right? And I can say that as a part of the Mercedes, and then I can say Mercedes dot start car. You know this will definitely work. If you guys understand how class works so far, you know this will work, right? So we can either do this, or we can also do the other way round, meaning we can say simply Mercedes equals new Mercedes. We can say that, no problem at all. I'm creating an object of Mercedes now, not an object of car. We are creating an object of Mercedes now, and we can say the same stuff again, right? Like accessing the brand, start, and everything. We can do that. On the other hand, we can also do one more stuff, and this is called as runtime polymorphism. We have seen the polymorphism, which is overloading, that's it. But runtime polymorphism is a little different than what it is. Okay, so now I have another car, just not Mercedes, but I also have another car, meaning I have a Audi, right? Now I have told you that two subclasses can extend from a single car or single parent. I told you that already. So which means that I can easily say the car can extend to Audi as well. I can easily say that, no problem. So if that is the situation, then I can go ahead and take the help of runtime polymorphism to make my code look a little different, meaning runtime polymorphism to make my code look a little different, just not look different, but to function a little differently, meaning I can say something like this. I can say that I want to create an object of car. Okay, let me just try to do something. I'll say string car equals Mercedes. Okay. So the use case here is this. The use case here is that on demand, I want to create either the object of Mercedes or the object of Audi on demand. The catch here is on demand, meaning what? Meaning, so far, I can definitely go ahead and I can create an object of car, I can create an object of Mercedes. That is obviously there. But I don't have a situation where on demand at runtime, I can figure it out whether I want to create an object of Mercedes or Audi or Volkswagen or Ferrari. I don't have that situation. That can be solved with the help of runtime polymorphism. The keyword is on demand or runtime, meaning, you see, I have given this variable here called string car equal Mercedes. Perfectly fine. And now I can say something like this. I'm going to create another object, something like this. I'll say car or car auto. The name of the object is auto equals null. I'm setting this to null, no problem. And then I can say something like this. I can say if, just say this, if car, that is the variable car dot equals Mercedes, meaning if the value of the car variable is Mercedes, then I want to go ahead and I want to create an object of, car. I mean, Mercedes, meaning I'll say something like this. I'll say auto equals to new Mercedes. You see that? New Mercedes. Okay. Else if car dot equals to Audi, then I would like to go ahead and create an instance of auto equals new Audi. Now look at the situation again closely. I'm saying, depending on my user input, I can either create an object of Mercedes or Audi. So what exactly it is happening? How exactly it is happening? Look at the syntax very closely. I'm saying car or car auto equals to new Mercedes. You see that? So far, we were not doing this. We were saying car Mercedes equals new car, or Mercedes equals new car, or Mercedes equals new Mercedes. That's what we were saying so far. But here, the situation is little different. The way you will read this is creating an instance of car pointing to Mercedes. Right? Or you can say create an I will say create a reference or create an object. Yeah, let me do this. Let me write it like this. Create a reference or create an object. Let me say create an object of car pointing to Mercedes instance. I can say that. Create an object of car pointing to Mercedes instance. I can say that. This is exactly what is happening. This situation can only and only happen if there is a relationship between Mercedes and car. So here there is a relationship, the inheritance relationship I have, which is why I can make this happen. Now, what's the benefit of this? Let me try and understand that. Okay, I will quickly remove my drawing, go back to my program, and we will just mimic this. All right, meaning I will just say, I'll take the exact same example of car, and let's see. Here, new class, and I will say car, and as a part of car, we will try to make this along with constructor and everything. Let's see this. I'll say private string brand, and I'll just say nothing. So not giving any initial value. Again, private string model. Again, not giving any initial value, just like that. And I'm going to say a constructor. So you know what is constructor by now, as per our last class. So I'll say public, and I'll say car, and I'll pass on the constructor argument. So here I want to pass on string brand string model. I can do that, no problem at all. And now all I'm going to say here is this dot brand. You know what I want to write here, right? This dot brand equals brand. What is this keyword for? This keyword is basically pointing to the instance of the car that will be created. So this dot brand and this dot model equals model. Perfect. I have these two guys here. Now I'm going to have one more stuff. Just say public void. Okay. Start car. When I'm starting the car, I want to definitely say something like sysout starting car, and which is this guy plus brand. Okay, plus I'm just going to print out these values to make sure that I have the right object created. Okay, and similarly I'm going to have another guy which is stop car. Very simple method. Everybody is happy with this method? Yes, no? Everybody is understanding this method? Show if any confusion with this method?
No, not yet.
Okay. Perfect. So I have this simple method there. Good stuff. Now what do? Let's go and create another class. New class. I'm creating a class called Mercedes. Okay. And I'm going to create another class called as new Audi. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, obviously, Mercedes and Audi is extending to car. Perfect. Mercedes extends to car. Good. As soon as I do that, I'm getting an error. Why am I getting an error? I told you why last week in the midweek class, that if I have a constructor in my parent class, immediately the child class will have to have the same constructor. So it's saying, get me the constructor. So you see, automatically this constructor got created. Mercedes, the Mercedes brand, the brand name is Mercedes, the model. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me, you see, I'm making some changes here now to make you guys understand how it really is working. So you can understand when I'm saying, when I'm creating, so this class is for Mercedes. So the brand is always Mercedes, right? The brand is always Mercedes. So brand name will never change. The brand name will never change. So if the brand name is always Mercedes, then there is no point ideally for me to have another object here called as, or a parameter called as brand. I can remove this. Only the model will be different. Okay. And here in the brand section, I will pass the actual name of the brand, which is Mercedes. You see? Because you understand, when I'm creating an object of Mercedes, let me say it like this. Hold on. So when I'm creating an object of Mercedes, I can do something like this. I can say Mercedes equals new Mercedes. Okay. And when I'm creating this object of Mercedes with a constructor in mind, all I want to pass here is the model name, say class 3, class C, right? And that's the model name. So the model name is only what will make, I mean, is a variable when I'm creating an object. Because when I'm creating this instance of the Mercedes for the class C, you see what will happen here is automatically this constructor will be called. In the constructor, I will get the model name, obviously. And that constructor will eventually call the superclass constructor. In the superclass constructor, it is accepting the brand name and the model name. Now, the brand name will always be Mercedes because I'm creating an object of Mercedes class. So the brand name has to be Mercedes. So let's not pull this information from this line, because this line is simply creating an instance of Mercedes for a particular model. Is that clear to everyone? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Amy, Bino, Bran, Eric, Frey, Avril, all good?
Yep.
Good. Awesome. So now that we understand this, what we're going to do, I'm going to remove my drawing first. So I have just one Mercedes class, perfectly fine. Now, Mercedes class is having a specific method, a method that is not defined in its car class or superclass. So I can say public void, and I'm going to say start or to say accelerate with nitro, with a nitro boost, something like that, right? So I'm going to say sys out. I already know. Okay, let me do one more thing here to make it even simpler. I'll say string private final. Final is not used for constant, right? Private final string, and I'll give the brand equals Mercedes, so that I can use this guy over and over again in my entire code or in entire class, right? And this brand name will be the brand over here. Yeah, simple stuff, nothing fancy. Why are you having a problem? Cannot refer to an instant field brand with the while constructor create a field brand. Why am I getting this? Yeah, I have to make it static. Right. Cool. Just a second.
Why did you have to make it static?
I'm thinking that the static is basically coming because I can then use it directly without creating the object of the Mercedes if I want to use it here. Just a minute, let me just see something. Hold on. Brand. Yeah, right. Private.
If the private final string was called like Merck brand, would that work?
No, I don't think so. Merck brand and brand here. No, same thing. It doesn't do with the name. There is something that I'm really missing out here. I think this is the situation where, hang on, we can just do a quick understanding, why it is not accepting it. Cannot refer to the instance field variable while explaining. Okay, let's try and see this. Okay, I'm not sure why it is creating the problem. So let's just put this here. Why cannot refer to instance field while explicitly using it in the constructor? Yeah. So it says something. The problem is that expression of the argument super in B are evaluated with okay. Right. Okay. Cool. Understood. Obviously. Very simple. Okay. So the point is, what they're trying to say here is that when we write this line of code, Actually, very, very good thing that we figured this out now. So when I'm saying this, Mercedes Merc equals new Mercedes, right? And we are giving model class C. Perfectly fine. Now, as soon as this guy is getting called, understand this, it's all about sequence. The problem is about sequence. As soon as this guy is getting called, what will happen? Understand this. The call will directly land in to the Mercedes constructor. But when it lands into the Mercedes constructor, it doesn't mean that this part of the code is already read by the constructor or by the class or by the JVM. You understand? This part is not yet read by the JVM until and unless you make it as static. If I now make this as static, I will give you guys a much more or better understanding about static later on when we actually talk about static. But for now, if I just make it static, what is happening is the class will be already loaded in the memory, okay, with every other details in place, meaning this particular line will be already there in the memory. So meaning this value will be already there for us to access in the constructor.
I have a question, please.
Yeah.
Why don't we, like for example, this line with the final, why is it not advisable to put it inside the constructor?
Why? Because I want this value to be accessible by other class members like this. Hold on. Come on, I want to clear my drawing.
Okay, but if we put it in the constructor, we don't have to use static.
No,
But
obviously not,
yeah,
because
okay.
when the constructor is getting called, you already have the value there. My motive was to keep it here because now I can say in my situation, which is this guy over here, I can say this out. Brand plus the model. Okay, yeah, I have to. Okay, okay. Now you see. Just a minute. So string model. By the way, the model is there in the. Okay, this model value is sent to the car class, which is over here. However, I cannot really access it directly. I cannot really access it, right? What I can do is I can create a simple getter method, you know. I can create a getter method. That's better. Let's create a getter method. Getter method is nothing but it will just give me the access to these values. So I'll just say edit source generate getters and setters for these two variables. I don't want to do it for brand. I'm good with just model. Say generate. And you can see what happened here is remove this method. I have just simply one method created for me, which is just this. You see, get model. This method is a public method, which I can access from anywhere, ideally, right? The idea is simple. I want to simply access this method in my subclass. So I'm going to say, not here, but in my Mercedes class, that the brand I already got it, plus get model, plus accelerating with nitro. I'll just explain this whole thing one more time. Let me just finish this off. Hold on. So what am I saying? Let's look at it again. I'm talking about Mercedes constructor here. I told you when I'm creating the Mercedes constructor, it will automatically, I have to create the Mercedes constructor because eventually I have to call the super class constructor, which is a car class. There is a constructor already here. Actually, I will move this method after constructor class. That looks better. Okay. So I already have the Mercedes class here where I'm just calling the super class constructor just here. And we also saw one more thing, that is this variable, not variable, this is a constant because I have a final thing here. So this constant that I'm keeping here in the global space, I want to put this in the global space because I want this value to be accessible both by the constructor or any other class members. That's the reason why I'm putting in the global space. Right now, I saw that I got a problem, that is, without keeping it as static, it was not accessible. It was giving me that error. We also understood why the error is, because when I'm writing the concept, when I'm writing the code, which is Mercedes equals new Mercedes, when I'm writing this, I told you what will happen. It will immediately call the constructor over here. But when it calls the constructor, the value brand is not yet having the value called Mercedes, which is why it is giving me that error. So I had to make it static purposefully. By making it static, what happens is when the car class gets loaded at the very first time, it automatically gets loaded along with this value because it's a static variable. I will tell you how static works later on. Now, because it is loaded with the static value, hold on. Okay. Now, because it is getting loaded with a static value, now I can say that this brand can be accessible to both the constructor and this method over here. Okay. Get model is another method which I just now added to my car class. I added that because I want to somehow get this value, this model value, which is coming out of this parameter in the constructor, right? I want this particular value to be accessible by other class member. I can do that only and only if I can get this value from my parent class, because this model value is sent to the parent class, right? So I'm getting this value model and then I'm writing this. Can you guys please give me an understanding if you are all okay with this strategy? Yes, no? Any questions? I'm taking it slow, but I want you to be super clear with it. Show if any questions. Kevin, any
Not for me.
questions? Pratik, how about you? Pankaj, how about you? All okay? Okay, good. So that's the situation right now. Okay, good. So that's the situation right now. What I'll do now is I'll create another class. I have already created this class called Audi, and I'm going to extends to car again. No problem. And I will have to go through the same situation one more time. I'll do one thing. I'll copy this whole piece, paste it there in the Audi, so that things are easier for us to mimic. Obviously, this method is a constructor. Ideally, it is a constructor. Just change it. Oopsie. Copy, paste. Okay, so I got my constructor ready. Here, I don't want to have the method called accelerate with nitro boost, but I'm going to say reach top speed of 200 mph. Okay, so I'm saying reach top speed 200 mph. This is not Mercedes, that's Audi. I have two different classes. Everybody is okay with this strategy. I'm saying I have two different classes. Number one is a car, number two is a Mercedes, number three is an Audi, and car and Audi, Mercedes and Audi is extending from car. That's the situation which is described right now so far. Everybody is okay with that? Yes, no?
Yes.
All good? Good. Now let's try and understand the second part of the problem. That is to talk about testing this whole situation. So test runtime polymorph. Okay. Runtime polymorph with a main method. Good. Let's go in here. Now what do I say here is simple. Runtime polymorph. Test runtime polymorph. Good. Now what do I say here is very simple. That is, I'm going to create an object of, okay, first and foremost, let me create an object or create a string. String name. I'm going to also cover up one more thing here called as casting right now, so that you can get the whole picture. So right now, string car name equals what? Equals say Mercedes, just like that. Mercedes, just like that. And now I'm also going to create an variable car auto equals null for now. Good stuff, no problem at all. Car auto equals null, no problem. Now I say if Mercedes or if car name dot equals what? Equals Mercedes, right? If it is, else if car name dot equals Audi. Okay, I'm creating this if else condition. Why am I creating this? As I said, creating car object depending car object pointing to Mercedes or Audi depending on user input. You see, depending on my user input, I want to either create the Mercedes or the Audi. Now I can say car name or auto equals new Mercedes. Okay, as a part of new Mercedes, I have to pass on the model name. You know the model name, class C. Perfectly fine. Here as well, I'm going to say simple stuff. I'm going to say auto Audi, and I'll say Audi A3. That's the model that I'm bothered about. Now you can see only the instantiation is something that I'm trying to really be focused on with the if else part. However, I can easily go ahead and access. Now you see what happens. Auto dot start car auto dot stop car. Correct? Now let's try to see. It is Mercedes. Okay, I am not talking about casting yet. I'm just saying let's run this part. Run as Java application. You see that? Starting car, I think it should be stop car, right? And if I just go and run this one more time, starting car Mercedes C class and stopping car Mercedes class C. You see how the data was flowing from the test runtime polymorphism, where I'm sending just the class, the model name, and from there it is calling the superclass. But because of the inheritance concept, now I can at runtime I can change it. Meaning, if I say I want to create the object of Audi, then you see this part doesn't change at all. This part doesn't change. I don't have to bother about changing this part at all. I'm just changing the name of the variable, I mean the value of the variable. And let's run this. And that's for Audi. You see that? This is called runtime polymorphism. Give me a shout if you are okay with it. Yes, no. Everybody clear with that? Are you able to understand the reason for making this complex architecture? Why do I even need that?
Um, I understand. I just have a question. Does that mean that if I do Merc equal to new Merc,
Yeah.
I get the same result as if I do car Merc equal to new Merc, except for this runtime polymorphism case like this example you give? Do we end up with the same result?
You will, but then this is a different use case because here I'm
Use
saying,
case.
yeah, here I'm saying with minimal effort, I can create multiple different objects and those objects will work in my terms, right? At my own demand, I can figure it out what kind of objects I want to create, and then those objects are eventually going to perform a similar operation, right?
Okay.
But the object, the value within that object are different every time I am working with a new information. Shoaib, are you okay with that? Yes, no? Are you getting this?
Yes. So
No, give me a seriously tell me, are you totally okay with this?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So Vic,
Now, yeah, go on.
so Vic, this is it might be a good. I know this might be going ahead, but this is effectively how we're controlling what kind of driver we use in automation, like Chrome driver or Firefox driver, based on the input.
Exactly. Here, but there in the Chrome driver or Firefox driver, I mean, that particular situation, we don't really work with, I mean, it is a runtime polymorphism, but here, talking about the runtime polymorphism, we're talking about classes, all the classes. But in case of WebDriver is an interface. What is an interface? We will talk about that in details later on. But right now, we are just talking, we just creating the runtime polymorphism with the help of classes, just the classes. But yes, you're right.
And with list as well, we've been using a similar structure. Is that polymorphism or interfaces?
It's an interface.
Interface.
List is an interface. Yeah. So your question should be whether a list is an interface or a class. Polymorphism is the concept. I mean, runtime polymorphism is a concept, but the structure that we are using is all classes here. But yes, list is an interface, and array list is a class that is implementing. So here we are looking at. Okay, let me not go there. No, I'll start talking too many things. Let me not go there. Okay, now the question to you is perfectly fine. You got to use, I mean, you just used start car and stop car, and depending on your input, you are able to perform different stuff. You're able to perform stuff like, starting the car or stopping the car. Depending on your input, you are trying to do it for either Mercedes or Audi. That's totally fine. If you right now look at the auto object, auto dot, if you just do this, look at it. Look at the section. It says you are able to see the method called start car and stop car. That's totally fine. But the question you can ask me is, Souvik, how do I now call the method that is specific for Mercedes or specific for Audi with this situation? How can I do that? You should ask me that question. Because you see, something like this one, reach top speed of 200 mph. This method is not available in the car class or in the Mercedes class. Mercedes class is also having a specific method, accelerate with nitro boost. Now, how do I really get it done then? How can I call specific methods? That is where the concept of casting is coming. How? Let's look at it. Meaning, hold on. Meaning, I know that I am creating an object of Audi. So what is happening here is this. So what did I say a minute back? I said creating a car object pointing to either Mercedes or Audi, depending on user input. Meaning what? I said earlier, car object referencing to Audi or Mercedes instance. That is exactly what we are trying to do in terms of runtime polymorphism. Now, what happens here is when you are idly creating an object of the car, and you are referencing to either Audi or Mercedes, whenever this line is getting created or getting executed, then what is happening is this auto is referencing to Audi object, meaning you can do something like this. You can say a bracket in the front, say Audi, cover this up again, and then let's try to do dot reach top speed of 200. Do you see that? How cool is that? Meaning what I did, it's called casting. So I can cast something to another option or to another object if and only if there is a relationship between those two objects. Meaning, ideally, if you look at it, the auto object is a car instance. Auto is a car instance. So car is a superclass. So car is a superclass. Is a superclass to Audi, right? You know that. Superclass to Audi. Meaning, if I am creating an object of car pointing to Audi, then ideally I can wrap around, or I can convert that object of car to Audi and access specific entities of Audi. This section is called as casting. I did cast to Audi, and when I did that, I was able to get the access to reach top speed. If I do it for Mercedes, then I will not get the access to this method because that method is not there with Mercedes. However, I can say dot accelerate with nitro boost. Do you see the difference? This is called as casting. Everybody clear with this section? Now, if I just go on and change this to Mercedes,
So,
and if I just, yeah, go on.
So Souvik, what we are saying is that by casting, we are just not accessing the functions or the methods from the superclass, but also from the
child class.
child
Yes.
class as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Perfect.
you can cast Mercedes as well as Audi.
Yes.
So whichever child class you're calling, whichever object you're creating,
yes.
it will get the methods from the superclass as well as from the child class of
Correct.
that same object. Okay. Got
Yes.
this one.
So here you can see now if I said dot, I do have the access to start car and stop car. Do you see that? I have access to both the methods that are coming from the superclass, as well as I have the access to my own method, right? That's how it is.
Yeah, so originally you had created an object of the Audi class.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't create an object of Mercedes, but you're still able to get to those methods
I
within the
didn't, I
service
didn't, I
forecast.
didn't create an object of, so I created both the objects, right? I mean, I created an object of car pointing to Mercedes or Audi. Here, I'm just saying, I mean, out of this if else condition, I'm just saying, if the if the instance is a Mercedes instance, then it will. So, for example, right now, you see, I'm saying Mercedes auto equals this, right? I clear my drawing and then I change this to Audi, right? Runtime, I mean, during the compile time, obviously I don't have any error. Okay. However, you see, the problem is now if I just go on and write this, run this, I'll get a problem right there. Exception right there. You see, test Java cannot cast to Mercedes because it came as an Audi object. And I cannot cast an Audi to Mercedes. I can cast Audi to car, that's fine. But I cannot cast an Audi object to a Mercedes object. I cannot do that, which is why I will never be able to access the method called as top speed, reach top speed. Is that making sense?
I got it. I got it. They need a relationship.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it makes sense to me. The only thing is I'm wondering about the use case because line 20, if I were to put it directly under line 12, wouldn't it be enough to just write
absolutely.
accelerate? So I'm wondering about when is casting actually recommended, right? Because I can remove the Mercedes here, right? And just put only auto dot accelerate with nitro boost.
Where? How? How will you access it? No. How will you access it? It's the same thing. I mean, how will you? So how will you access auto dot accelerate with this one? You don't have it. You don't have that method. Auto object not having the access to it until because auto is a car object pointing to Mercedes. That doesn't mean that it can access. You understand, right?
Now I understand the difference. Okay, so that's because we used car auto and not Mercedes auto.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly.
So this is the difference in usage. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Good. You guys are getting the aha moment. Awesome. That's what I want.
Sorry, Souvik. I didn't understand why did we get the exception when you had the Mercedes auto
obviously,
written
look,
below.
Wait.
But we're not calling. If we are calling Audi, why would it even call Mercedes auto?
Because it will eventually complete the whole class, right? It will hit line number 20 and it is saying you are an Audi object. How can you cast this to Mercedes?
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Now if I put this here within the if else block, now I will never get there.
Yeah, true. Got it.
Right?
It will only call if it's Mercedes, otherwise it will not touch it. I mean, it will just ignore.
Exactly. Awesome. Yes, that's right. Perfect. Here I say Audi. And Audi don't have the access to the accelerate. It has the access to the other one, which is reach top speed. Right? And then this works fine. Go and run this. That's it. Make sense?
Yeah. Sorry, can I ask a question in relation to inheritance constructor and all of method overloading and overriding? So when you had the parent class, you had the class variables in it, right?
Yes.
And then you created child, but you did not added any additional class variables.
True.
Is that something we can't do it, or is that restricted? We can have only the same similar variables.
Yeah, why will first of all you cannot do it because in the class variables. No, wait a minute. Look at the situation. Okay. So here I have two variables, private brand and private model. These are privates. They are not going to be accessible by the subclass. That's number one. In the subclass, you can have your own variables and nobody is stopping you from doing that. Right? It's just that there is no point in accessing or creating these variables anyway, because they are private variables, they are within the car class, and all your main strategy is this. Your main strategy is to send the values or the data inside these variables. That's your main strategy. How do you do that? You do it with the help of your constructor, because When you're creating the object of Mercedes, you're sending these values, and those values are going to sit on these variables, which is in the car class, superclass, right? Now, these variables are not needed. You don't need this to be recreated for Mercedes because you can either access them directly with the help of a method called as get model, or if you want to really access them directly, then the option is make them protected. Then you can access them directly. I'm just showing you different ways to get the same thing done. If you want to do it, no problem at all. You make them protected, so child class will obviously have the access to it, and you don't have to rely on a method like get model. Okay, or you can just make this, even if you want to make it secure, then you can just say they are private and just make this method as protected other than public. Protected, you can do that, no problem at all, and only the child classes will have access to it. Make sense?
Yeah, no, I was thinking basically I took the literal meaning of like, parent class and child class. So what I was trying to do was, when I was practicing inheritance was, so from inheriting from the family, I said like you will get inherit like, family name or family house, but as a child you will have your own identity, you'll have your own variables, like your first name will be yours, your height, and your own like
Okay,
education
so
degree and stuff.
yeah, so your family name comes from family
Yeah,
name,
that you
right?
can inherit from
That you
family,
can
right?
inherit, and you can have your own name as well. So you can say Shoaib, and then you can say Akhtar or whatever. Akhtar is your family name. Shoaib is your name. You can have that. There is no problem.
So I can call the class variable like in child variable only through
All
my
you have to do
method.
this. All you have to do this. I'm just showing you. Just try to get it done in the code. I'm just showing you the pseudocode. Always, whenever it's there in your mind, some problem, try to draw it. Draw it, right? So you have a family name. So you're saying family. You want to put it literal? Let's put it literal. So family, okay? Family name. So say a string variable. String, say private. No need. Private, okay? String, and it's a family name. Totally fine, no problem at all. You have a constructor here saying the constructor name is obviously family name. That's the name of your exactly the same. Oops, just a second. Right. Okay. You're gonna say this as family. That's a constructor is family, right? And here in the constructor, you're setting your family name as Akhtar. I'm just saying, right? And then that's your family name. Perfectly fine. You're setting that value there. This value is private variable. You can make it protected, or you can make a method like I did for get model, and you can access in your own class called as showf, right? As a part of showf, you can have your own variable name, private name, and the variable value is having showf. Why can't you do that? And then you want to say sysout, and you can get the name. So you want to just print your name, for example. Say name plus, say, your family name that is coming out of your parent class. Now, if the family name variable is a private, then you cannot access it directly. You have to get it done with a method, like I did for get model. Or if it's a protected, then you can anyway access it in the child class. And that's how you can print your family name along with your name. Make sense?
Yep. Thank
Good.
you.
Very good. Awesome. Let's take a quick 5 minutes break. I'll come back and then we'll try to dig more in terms of, I don't know, what do I have left out? This was very important, you know. Okay, let's see. Polymorphism. Okay, creating a simple test framework. I think I have explained that in the video, and which I used. I think I used the same situation of polymorphism there. And in the other class of okay, absolute Xpath. Oh yeah, here. It's all about Xpath stuff, right? Good. Okay, so we'll talk about Xpath after we come back from this quick 5 minutes break, and then we'll dig deeper into the Xpath. All right. Thank you. Okay. So now that we are kind of in a good situation with respect to Java, let's try to dig deeper in terms of the situation with our Xpath, right? So what I will do is, by the way, guys, I have sent every one of you guys some private message in the Zoom. You guys can either reply me there or individually, or you can send me a Slack. So that'll be great. So that's that. And also one more thing I was saying. Okay, let me just get started with class 9 and let's go to class 10. Okay. What is Xpath? Absolute versus relative Xpath, simple web element using Xpath, those kind of things we're going to look at. Okay, so before we go to anything else, we got to understand about WebDriver locator strategies. Okay, so it is a simple stuff. Number one is WebDriver locator strategies, right? So what exactly it is? So you can see that I am at this moment right now, I'm creating. So once you are getting your Selenium WebDriver jar installed in your project, you can get the access to the Chrome driver. You can get the access to Chrome driver, Firefox driver, Edge driver classes. Okay, all the supported classes. You can easily get the access to all of them, right? So that is that here. Correct. Now, once you have that there, then you have few methods to work with. Number one, the method that I'm trying to show you here is the .get method. Okay, this get method accepts a URL, simple URL, which will let you navigate yourself to the application. Correct? That's the amazon.co.uk. That's number one. Second thing is, once you land into the page, what you have to do is you have to locate an element so that you can work with it. Automation testing is all about locating an element and then designing your business case with the help of Java. So we need two things, right? One we need is Selenium WebDriver jar file. That's number one that you need. Second thing what you need is to make it work is basically your locators, because you have to understand that when you are launching an application, you need to locate an element that you're trying to work out with, along with, with the help of locators. Okay, once you're done with the locators, the third thing that you need is what? The business logic. Business logic that needs to be validated. So understand this. This part is already coming to you, right? From the help of our Selenium WebDriver, it is coming to you with all the loaded methods. You will use located strategies like Xpath, which I will show you how to write one or multiple of them. Once you're done with that, then the third thing comes in here is your business logic. Obviously, the business logic can be written with the help of WebDriver methods plus Java. That's it. Code Java. Okay. Whatever the logic that I'm talking about, whatever the principles I'm teaching you, those are the principles that we will be using to write our business logic or the methods that will be used for the validation. That's it. Okay. So that is the situation with a WebDriver or automation completely. Now here you see when you are creating an object of Chrome driver, and when you say driver dot find element, now there are multiple different type of locator strategies that are involved. Find element by class name, find element by ID, by link text, by partial link text, by name, by tag name, okay, by tag name, and by CSS selector and by Xpath. There are different type of locator strategies involved, meaning you can locate an element with all these different methods or different locator strategies. However, we are focused on only two sections. Number one is Xpath. You can also choose CSS, but Xpath is what we will cover most because I personally feel that Xpath is much more flexible on its terms. You know, you can write a lot of stuff with respect to Xpath, something that you cannot do with CSS. So Xpath, and then we will also learn about and okay. So the most preferable ones are Xpath, CSS selectors, and IDs. Okay. Other than that, whatever else are listed down, it really doesn't make sense for us to use them. Why? I will tell you why. Okay. So let's try to understand why the ID and CSS and XPath is something that we should be relying on and why not others. Let me clear the drawing. Let me take up any website for that matter. Maybe this one, Stack Overflow, for example. So let's just see something. For example, I want to click on the just a minute. Just a second, guys. Sorry. Okay. So what I'm saying here is that, for example, I have a button to work with. I have a button here called Ask Questions. I have a button called Sign Up, right? So let's try to look at the first situation, that is find element by class name. All right. So let's try and understand why I'm saying that class name is not at all going to work out for us. Right click on this guy, inspect. When I do that, I'm hitting the console window. In the console window, I see this guy, ask question. It looks like a button, but it's not. It's a anchor tag. It's a link, simple link. Now think about it. If you want to use the method called as find element by class name, number one is the class name is this attribute. The attribute is ws now wrap s button type, whatever. Okay, that's a class name, right? Now if you want to use this, let's try to find an element, the idea is very simple. You have to uniquely find the element in the page and then work along with it. So when you are trying to find an element uniquely in the page, you have to also understand that this code that you're writing, it's a future-proof code. It must be a future-proof code. That it means that you don't want to, I mean, you don't want a situation where it is working right now and then tomorrow it's not working. You have to write your test cases, or you have to write your locators in such a way that it works forever. Okay. So if I want to really find out an element with the class name, just see Control C, and I will hit a Control F here. Just a minute. I hit a Control F here. When I hit a Control F here, I see this small window. In this small window, if I just say Control V, okay. In this situation, luckily, this element is just 1 of 1. Okay, we are good with that. Okay, let's try to see another example. Maybe this search button, the search box. Let's say inspect. That's the input element. And the class name over here is this guy. Hopefully this is the only one. 2. I don't know. Let's see. Yes, it is. It is the only one. We are lucky. We are very lucky. Let's see something else. Suppose we want to click on this guy. Okay, maybe this link called users. Let's check this out. All right. And here it gives me a class name called dev grid cell trunket. So remove this. Now you see grid cell trunket, it is having, so if I want to just try to find out an element with the help of only the class name, then see the situation. Then I have grid cell trunket as 5 of them here. 5 of them here. But this is not the right one which we want to really work with, right? We want to figure out the right element that we are trying to ideally interact with. So if I just say enter, enter. So third guy, the guy that is the class name with the third index is the guy that I want to click on, the users guy, right? So you understand that if I'm just trying to find out an element just by the help of class name, just the class name, then it will never work for us. We cannot rely on it. And also you have to understand one more thing, that even if today you are finding that the class name is unique, you have to understand that the application is continuously evolving. So you will have no control over the developers that tomorrow if they want to add another component with the same class name, they can absolutely feel free to do that. And in that situation, your test case will fail because it will then point to another element. Okay, instead of the right element. So class name, absolutely, it will not work. Similarly, if we go for other stuff, which is link, okay, find element by link text. Okay, link text. So let's see something. You just want to find an element just with the link text. So let's see, for example, I have a link here. I don't know, where is a link? Let's see, maybe this link here, more comments, right? That's a link. Show 3 or more comments. Now, you see, if I'm choosing this guy, show 3 or more comments as a link text. Can I find it? Let's go and try to do an inspection on this first. And then just say Control V, enter. Show 3 or more comments. Okay, it's a link text, right? Link text meaning I can give something more into it, meaning I can say it's an anchor. So I'll say I'm looking for an anchor with a link text, meaning, come on. anchor, and I'm going to say text equals this guy. Why can't I see it?
Do we need a dot at the beginning?
You can, but that will not make much difference. Just a minute, I have to see something. This element is a link, right?
I'll put in the at symbol before text.
Yeah, I tried that as well. Hold on.
If
Yeah,
it's
because no, it's not about L dynamic right now. Right now the value is static, right? So that's fine. The problem is that this anchor is not having the text at all, because you see, the anchor is not having the text at all. If you go inside that, this okay here. Okay, I know why it is.
Maybe
Because of this B thing. Because it's bold, that's why. Hold on. What we can do is, so yeah, this will never work because it is bold and it is not able to figure this out. I can just try to put a bold here. No, I will not be able to put a bold here, right? What I can do is I can just say something called as contains. Just a second. I can say contains. Contains is a method in Xpath. Contains. Right? Instead of saying show 3, I'll say more comments, just more comments, and see if that works. Text.
it's a function. Text is a function.
Yeah.
And we need a comma as well.
Yeah. True. Contents text equals more comments. More comments. Oh yeah. Wait a minute. More comments. Wow. Why it is not happening? Contents text more comments. I can even try with this. No. Why it is not accepting it? Show more comments.
How my week went this week.
Sorry?
This is pretty much how my week went this week.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I have to figure out the export, right? Yeah, that's fine. That's not a problem. If this is not working, then we have to figure out. That's what Xpath gives me 10 different options to ideally click on this element if I want to. So if I'm not able to find this guy, then that's okay. I can just use this element directly as a title to work it out for me. I can easily do that. At title equals, yeah. So expand to show all comments post. So I'm saying 2 of them. I'm bothered about the second one, not the first one. I'm bothered about the second one. So the second one is this guy, the right guy. So I can just say, I can wrap it up and just say 2. And with that, I can say, yeah, I'm finding the right element. I can do that. But this value somehow didn't really work for me. Why is that? Not really sure. However, you can use Xpath to get that thing done. One more thing that we can do is to take the example of the link. Let me go to Amazon. And here I'm talking about a situation where you see you have some values here in the footer link, and you want to probably just click on link with the help of this is text. So sell products on Amazon. Okay. So is that the only value I have here? Let me check something. The point is that you need to figure out a way to make the element unique for you. So Control V, yeah, sell products on Amazon. this element is just one element in the whole page. So yes, it will definitely work out in the situation. If you're trying to say find an element with the link text, then yes, it is the text. It is a link and it has a text. Sell products on Amazon, that's fine. But let's try to see another one called blog. You see, I have 3 guys. Okay, here I have 1. That's the number blog. And the 3rd guy. Okay, here. You see, it's giving me 3 options. Blog. No, I think it will work out even in this case because it's a anchor and that has a value called blog. My point is, let me see if I have something called as anchor with a Amazon. Anchor with a text called as Amazon. Right? No, I don't have anything. Or I'll say contains text. Contains text. Amazon. Yeah, I have 22 of them that has a value called Amazon. So what I'm trying to say here is that if you're using a link text and you're trying to find, if you're trying to click on that link, you can eventually do that, no problem. But the only thing is that you have to also make sure that this link can be tomorrow get changed. I mean, the text of the link can get changed, number one. Second thing, what can happen is in the same screen, another link can get appear with the same name. And then the actual link that you want to click, that is not getting clicked, but the second link is getting clicked. Why it is like that? Because you have to understand something. When the code is read, when the HTML is read, it's actually read from top left to bottom right, like this, right? So for example, why I'm saying this, for example, you have a link here called as Amazon, okay? And you're using just Amazon as it is. So you're saying find link by text Amazon and you're clicking on it, totally fine. Tomorrow, what happens is the developer adds a link over here and you say Amazon. What will happen? The second guy will not get the click. The first guy will get the click. Why? Because the element or the HTML is read from top left to bottom right. So obviously this guy comes first and it will get the click. Maybe you don't want to click that link. Maybe you want to click the actual link which is on the bottom right corner. Which is why you cannot rely on just one entity that is link by text. At the same situation also works good with click link by partial text. You see, this guy that I created, you see, I'm saying, give me, not this one, sorry. Where's the other one? I said, give me the link by that contains text, right? Control F. I'm saying anchor. I'm saying contains. I'm saying text, colon, and I'm saying Amazon. What exactly I'm trying to do? I will just explain that to you. I'm trying to get content text called Amazon. Is one of one. Okay, that's good. There is only one link. Where is that link? Ah, this top right corner, is it? Yeah, this top right corner is having Amazon. Okay, I don't know why it was showing me at least 22 results. Whatever. So what I'm saying is when you say contains text means you are having an anchor that is having a text called Amazon within that link text. It could be at the front of it, at the back of it, whatever it is, it contains the text. That's why it says contains method, right? We are using a Xpath method called as contains. Okay. The same situation exactly is trying to be evaluated when we are using the method called as find element by partial link text, meaning you're trying to find an element that has a partial link text as cell. So it is trying to access all the links that has a text called cell anywhere in the link. You can use that if you really want to use it, because this method ideally can be used in a situation where I believe where you have multiple links that has a keyword called as cell into it. Okay, can you guys tell me something? The strategy that I just said a minute back in terms of your reading the HTML from left top to bottom right. Can you tell me something? How many when I run this command, how many element or elements I'm trying to get access to just with write one command, this command? How many element I can get access to with this command?
One.
Exactly. Just one. Driver.find element by partial link text. So if it finds in the whole HTML page, it finds the value like sell on Amazon or AMZ, right? And here it is saying sell card, whatever, right? So ideally, it is going to just click on the first element, which is this one, and not this guy. It will not even return this guy to you. It will always try to find the first occurrence and perform the click on it or whatever operation you want to. However, there is one more stuff that is called as find elements, meaning you can write something like this. You can say driver dot find elements by link text or partial link text, partial link text, right? And here you can say cell. Perfect. Here you can say cell, right? Now what happens? It ideally returns back two of the values, both of them. And then you can wish to put them in a loop and click on both the links if you want to. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that there is no point in actually going on with, the existing methods like by class name is absolutely crap. Link text and partial link text, you can to some extent use it, but I don't see a use really. Another one is name. Again, some of the attributes, some of the elements, you can find that it has an attribute called as name. For example, let me clear my drawing and show it to you. Let's see, I don't know if I just see this guy, votes. Let's see if I have a value called name. I don't see it. Let me say name. Those are not the elements, right? These are meta. These are something that is getting added in the header section here. This is one guy. You see, name, input type hidden name, F key. Okay, what exactly is this guy? I don't know. This is the element, right? Can I find it somewhere? Just a second. Okay, so I think this guy. So you understand, right? Whatever is that I am hovering on, That is the section which gets displayed to me, right, on the screen. But yeah, at times, div class. You see, this element is not even visible to me.
Well,
I don't know.
even the fact it says type, the type's hidden.
Ah, you're right. Sorry, I missed that. You're right. It's a input type hidden. That's true. That's the reason why it's not shown. Totally right. Yes. So the other one is hidden as well. Okay, let's see this. No, this is not a name attribute. Sorry. I'm trying to find a name attribute. Here you go. No, not this one. That is in item prop. Is this one? Yeah, it has a name attribute, right? But it has name attribute, but the name has no value actually. The attribute is having a name. I mean, the attribute is name, but it doesn't have a value. So I will not consider this as
Is
a
it
name
not?
attribute.
Is it not the whole thing? Name scrolling is the attribute. Or
No,
is
no,
it?
no, 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 no. It's not. It's not. Scrolling is a separate attribute. Name is a separate attribute. Okay. So if I remove this, you can see the name as a it's
Can't have
blue.
spaces. You can't
Yeah,
have spaces in an attribute.
that's right. Yes, you can't. So that is there. Okay, I'll just see a few more. There are 84 of them. Hopefully I get something. No? Data name. Nah, just name. Let me go to Amazon. Yeah, Amazon is one good site to give me good examples. You know, I don't show things from like simple stuff or simple application. I try to go and use something that is live and working. So let's just see if I have a name attribute here. Name. Yeah, here. See, name equals glow validation token, right? You can try to, okay. So you see here, look at this. This is the input. It has an ID called as glow validation token, or a name called as glow validation token. Obviously, I will never go for the glow validation token as a name. I will always go for ID. Why? Because IDs are unique in the page. You will not have another element in the page that has an ID with the same value, right? So if you have the choice of ID, then always go for ID. There is no point in using the name. However, why am I saying this? Because there is a chance that this element is a duplicate. It has a duplicate value. Let me see. Do I have a duplicate value? No, it is 1 of 1. Perfect. This is good. This is good. But many times that will not be the case. So name glow validation token. Let's look at the other one. Okay, here it says form ID, name site search. Okay, I don't know. It could be the one unique one, or it could be multiple. Yeah, it's 1 of 1. Okay. Anyways, it's 1 of 1. We are lucky to find 1 of 1, but it's not going to be. You're not going to be lucky to have it just one instance of the name. And also, you have to also understand one thing, that is, these attributes like name and class name, even if it is showing you one element right now, it doesn't mean that it will be always one element. Next day, a developer can come in and it can have the same name given to another element. And it is absolutely acceptable, and the site will absolutely work fine, but your test case will fail. So always choose ID and Xpath or CSS. Okay, so that's the whole thing that I wanted to show you. Let's not waste more time in this. Okay, I just got excited and closed it.
Quick question, Civic, for interview purposes, is it enough to just go in there with like knowing about XPath and saying that that's what you use and not knowing about CSS, would you say?
You
Or
have
like
no problem. You can do that. Depends on company to company, people to people. If you are comfortable with one particular, see, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, when you are writing a test case, if you are writing it in, if you are using XPath and if you are able to click on an element with the help of XPath, you are absolutely fine. You don't really have to bother about talking about CSS. I have seen, I worked with many companies where people just write the locator. I mean, they mostly either use CSS or XPath and ID. Mostly, they don't go for any other stuff. So that's it. So that is that, right? So just a minute, let me go to my, okay, here, sorry. I was talking about.
Souvik, on Xpaths, is it not best practice to assign a common attribute to the elements you want to interact with? Because they're constantly changing, especially when you test across environments.
Mm-hmm.
So like, for example, like a data auto attribute to a login button.
I mean, you will not do that, right? You will ask your developers to do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If you can figure that out, if you can tell your developers to add in a specific element, like in my previous companies, whichever the components we were mostly using, or whichever the buttons or links we were mostly using, we told them to add in data test ID as an attribute to all of them, okay, to most of them. And that's why, we were not really breaking our head on creating an XPath for those elements. We were just calling it with a data test ID, and we were working on it.
Souvik, when we are testing, when we are practicing on the live websites, so are these elements constantly changing?
I would not say it's constantly changing, but you have no control over it if it's changing. I mean, suppose you have written a test case right now, and 7 days down the line, you see your test case are failing. So you would say that it's changing, and when it's failing, you are left out with nothing rather than either changing your locator strategy, or you talk to your developer and say, okay, fix it. That is very likely that it will not happen.
Mhm. But for us to practice, will it? Do you have specific websites? Do you reckon we should be using, or should we aim for live website like Amazon or eBay or any other websites?
Yeah, even if so, if you follow my classes for hostelworld.com, you will see the XPaths that I have written during the recorded sessions. Those are not going to work right now. So Hostel World has changed its UI here and there, and all the old XPaths are not working anymore. So it's always recommended that you use an XPath or some kind of a strategy that will work out, that will not fail. Or you have to write the XPath in such a way that it will not fail, right? So don't worry, we'll get there. What I'm trying to say here is XPath and CSS selector and ID are the best choices we have. What is XPath? Again, XPath is structural navigation technique that we use to go over an element, go over the whole HTML document to find an element in the page. That is what XPath is all about. How do we do it? We use a particular syntax to find an element in the page, right? Because XPath comes along with a lot of inbuilt methods that we will use in order to find an element in the page. For example, let's go on. What I'm trying to say here is that XPath follows a particular structure like HTML head and body. That's a proper structure that the XPath follows. So meaning that if I have to click on this particular H1, or if I want to get the text out of this particular H1, I can start looking at the H1 from HTML, then body, and then to div, and then to HTML. It's a structured way you can navigate yourself to the H1 tag, and then you can get the value out of it, right? That's how it works out. Okay, so let's go on and go to the next element. Here, I'm talking about a very important concept, a difference between absolute XPath and relative XPath. If you have watched the video, you will know what I want to really mean by absolute XPath. So think about it. I'll go to Hostel World, not Amazon. Hostelworld.com, right? And for example, okay, you see the UI has again changed. This was not the case earlier. Anyways, so I want to really make a click on this element. I want to click on this element so that I can get the next portion to enter the text. So for example, look at this very closely. I do a, I do an inspection. Wait a minute, it's not happening. F12, user F12 to get the element. I mean, this guy here, right? F12, and then just try to inspect with the help of inspection. Just try to inspect this element first, okay? So you see what happens is when you click on this element, it says input ID, right? It has an ID. That's totally fine, no problem at all. If you are trying, if you have an ID, it is very good. You just can use the ID on its own and you can work on it. It will work out, right? I will make another click on this same link, just like that. It gives me this section over here where I can do the inspection again. Inspect. And here also I have an ID. Okay, fair enough. Let's try to click on the current location. Let's see what do I have here. Okay, perfect. So for example, I want to click on the current location. If I click on the current location, it should just give me that pop out here on the top saying allow. Okay, that pop out that you see allow is something that really you cannot work with, because I mean, from automation perspective, you cannot work with it because this section is an alert, and that alert is something you cannot really handle. Okay, it's a coming from the browser. It's not coming from the application, it's coming from the browser. This thing you cannot really handle with the help of your automation. So you can say this test case goes to a manual testing team, ideally. Okay, if you want to say allow or block, whatever. But anyways, I'm just trying to show you something. That current location, this is the element you want to really work with. Now, if you want to really get the XPath of this element, you can say right click. I mean, without the knowledge I'm giving you to find the XPath, if you just try to follow like other guys are doing, they are just right clicking on this element and say copy, and then say copy XPath. They will do this. Okay, copy and copy XPath. Now I'll do one thing. I'll just quickly go to my paint and I will say this guy here. So let's try to break it down and just see what is this saying. It's saying that it is trying to, the XPath that came out of the browser, it is saying that it is starting, that starts from the topmost level, and then it is trying to perform a global search. So perform a global search until you find an ID called as current location. And inside that, go to the span, the second span. That is what exactly happened right now when I tried to get the XPath from, the browser. Browser gave me something auto-generated one, and we cannot rely on it. Why is that? The biggest reason is it is hard coding the index. Why? Because you never know, tomorrow the developer can add another index, another span just on top of this span. So if you really want to see the structure of it, that's the structure of it. Let me show you the structure of this guy. I mean the UI or the look and feel of it. So see this section. Look at this section, right? To see my stuff. So it just tries to come to the location with, okay, it found this element called as li at id current location. Look at this. It found this element li at id current location. That's fine. Inside that, it has two spans, span number 1 and span number 2. Span number 2 is the guy that I want to really work with, for example. Okay. Now tell me something. As a tester, do you have any control from stopping your developers to add in one more span here? Span. They can add one more span just right here in this section if they want to. If they do that, what will happen? This span will not be span with index 2, but it will be span with index 3, and your test case will fail. You understand? Your test case will fail. That is something that we are trying to avoid by learning the Xpath inbuilt methods. That is exactly what we are trying to avoid by learning Xpath inbuilt methods. How? Look at this. I can just go ahead and say very simply that I'm trying to look for a span just give me a second. Okay, so look at this section now. I can easily say span, and in the span, what can I do? I can say I'm looking for, where did it go? Sorry. The location is called current location, right? Inspect. So it's a span. Inspect. Wait a minute. Not finding this guy. Why am I not finding this guy?
You just scroll up a bit. It was just up a wee bit there. There, at the very top there now, current location, is that it?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So I'm going to say span at text, okay, equals this guy here. Sorry, my bad. Text, okay. So now you can see I am not really bothered about the position of the span method. I mean this particular element. It can be anywhere in the page. All I am concerned about is that this guy is having the text called as current location. Now, this is a simple structure that I'm talking about. This simple structure I'm talking about, right? I have a li, I have a span, and I have a second span, right? Now you can see I'm saying span text current location. I'm saying span text current location. That's what I'm saying. Now, can you tell me what can I do to make sure that the span that I'm trying to work out here is exactly under the same section? What can I do to make sure that this span is the span which is exactly under the same section, meaning under this text box. What can I do?
I see the unordered list, for example, has an ID.
You can use the one that you want to check as a reference first, and then the span as part of that.
Very good. Yes, that is right. So what I will do is I will just take the help of my current location again. No problem. I can do that. I can just say li @id equals this guy. And then inside that, I'm saying /span, because you see li, inside li, I have multiple span. I am trying to create a solution where I don't want to really specify the position of the span. I don't want to specify the position of the span, but still I want to get to the span, which is under the li tag.
Could we use UL instead of LI?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you can. Like this. You can say UL, just like that. You can say UL. UL is having another ID called predicted search result. And yes, you can do that. However, now your single slash is not going to work out because it is
UI. You wrote.
UL, my bad. Even then it will not work out with a single slash because span is not directly under UL. Span is under li. So if you want to come to the span, you got to say double slash. Okay. Okay. I am again taking one step back and I'm going to tell you what is ideally the absolute XPath. Again, let me take up another example from the hostelworld.com. Let us go slow, no problem at all. So I will just go ahead and say hostel world. For example, let's go and say talk about this guy, this this burger menu right here. Let's try to talk about this guy. Inspect. Okay, button whatever, and it has something. Let me say I want to click on this element, right? I want to say copy and copy Xpath, for example. Let me go to my drawing and just say, what did I get? Wow, this is amazing result. This is exactly what I wanted to show you. Look at the problem that you will face if you are not learning how to work with Xpath. You copied that element just however it is from your browser. You copied that burger menu, the Xpath of the burger menu, however it is given to you. Now look at this understanding. Look at, you know what? I'll do something. I will just write it one more time. And I will tell you why it is so dangerous to use this strategy. Whatever we are right now working on, or I'm showing you here, it's a absolute XPath. Okay. So let me try to do this. I will try to actually change few things here. Meaning, I will just say div, and then I'll say div again. And then I would say I'm just breaking them down into pieces so it makes sense. Div, div, div1, header. Why did I break it down? Because I wanted to show you that how exactly the path is so dangerous. So the ultimate element that you want to really click on is the button. What you got here is an absolute XPath. XPath. Okay. You want to click on this button. This button. And why it is absolutely dangerous, that's what we want to learn. So look at this. What it is saying is, try to find out the first line here, star ID underscore underscore layout. It means what? It means find out ID underscore underscore layout equals underscore underscore layout. That's my first ID. That's my ID, correct? Once I'm done with that, what it is saying is, go and look at the div element, which is just right next there. Okay. Look for the div element just below the element that has the ID called as layout. So look at this guy. So come one level down. So I'm just coming one level down. Let me draw this. I'm coming one level down. Perfectly fine. Now, once I'm coming one level down, now it is saying go and choose or go to the next div that is under index number 1. Meaning what? Meaning at this position right here, I have maybe div 1, div 2, div 3, right? I'm saying I don't know that yet. Maybe there are 3 divs, and it is asking us to choose the first div. It is asking us to choose the first div. Immediately, it is also asking us to go to the next layer where I have div 1 again, then go to the next child. So these are all childs, you understand, right? These are all child of each other until you reach the button. You're starting, this is a parent, you can say, and from there you are just going down the whole route until you hit the button, correct? So you see, every time I am making a move to the next element or next child, you are actually having a specific index attached to it. And ideally, you don't have, these are all divs. By the way, what is a div? Div is nothing but a division or a section in the screen. That's it, right? Under which you're going to keep your components. It could be a button, a link, or whatever, right? So you can see there are so many divs, and every one of them are having different indexes. Now, for each and every time, you have to understand that you have to go to the right div and then go to its child. Again, find the right div and then go to its child. Now, this whole structure should be accurate every time you want to click on this button, which is dangerous because you have no control ever on any of these structure between the parent and the actual child. Whatever is coming in between, you have no control over it. So I cannot go ahead and use a structure that comes from our browser, HTML or a Xpath structure that comes from our browser. It is dangerous. So what do I do? What is the next option do I do? We have to learn how can we create an Xpath to avoid all these, confusions. I mean, how can we directly, we have to figure it out how to avoid all this section between the parent and the button and somehow land in to the button every time we want to perform an action on that button. That is it. That is what we are trying to learn here. We are trying to avoid absolute XPath, and we're trying to learn about relative XPath. So no to absolute, sorry. So no to absolute and yes to relative. We're trying to learn about relative XPath now. Okay, just say yes to it. Correct? How it is? Let's see. So what I will do is very simply, I will do one thing, that is, this is my button, and the button is having some title called menu, right? Good enough? I can look at, so what you have to figure out your XPath, the right XPath that you want to use, you always have to read that element that you want to interact with and try to see what kind of attributes it has, what kind of values you have there, okay? and then try to create an XPath out of it. So I have a button and the title is menu. So I can say Control F and I can say double slash. I'll tell you what is double slash meaning, but just a minute. I'll say the button at title equals menu. And that's the element I want to work with. That's my one-liner, a short and crisp XPath, which will work for me all the time. I don't have to really work with all those crap in between. And I will always land into this guy. Are you guys getting my point that why I am not going to use an absolute XPath and why relative XPath is the one that I should be using always? Is that making sense?
Yes.
Just a minute. Shoaib, what about you? Are you understanding this? Okay. Motorola.
Yes.
Okay. 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 Perfect. Right. That's good. So then let me clear this drawing and let me go to the next level. We will try to learn about the existing methods. Okay. There's a difference between, okay, so as I said, there's a difference between a single slash and double slash. Okay, Omotola, thank you. So I'm just going to do one thing. I'll just quickly show my painting here. So now what I'll say is there's a difference between a single slash and a double slash. You understood single slash? Absolute XPath, meaning go to the next level, one by one, right? That's the absolute XPath. Relative XPath is basically to say perform a search in my child nodes. So perform search globally in the child nodes. So meaning you're kind of searching all through. You're kind of searching all through the entire child nodes. Okay, you're not going one level at a time. You're searching all the way through until you find the element that you want to work with. That's okay, Bino. Thank you. Right? That's how the absolute XPath works. There are some methods which I wanted to discuss. Let me just see if I have the time for that or not. So absolute XPath and relative XPath. You see, relative XPath, I'm saying about double slash, that's that. Finding an element by XPath. As I have already covered that. Input at name field keywords, that's that. And that is the end of this particular slide deck. Next, we are going to talk about the XPath methods. And I would like to talk about them next week because I think we are already covered up today. So I'm just going to talk about that next week, where I talk about all these existing methods over here. XPath different type of methods, find elements. Okay, XPath access, very, very important stuff. I'll talk about them in the next weekend. That's fine. I'm going to ask you guys one thing, that is, do you guys want to take 1 week break and continue with me from next week? Meaning, next week we will have a class, obviously, as it is. But instead of going to week 5, I want to stay and complete the week 4. Do you want to do that and then start the week 5? because I want to keep it slow and steady for every one of you. So I'm just giving an option. If you want to do that, I can do it. If you don't want to do it, it's fine with me. I can enable week 5, and anyway, I will have to cover up these things. So I will get started with week 4, and then it will kind of.
I'd like to just finish week.
Sorry, you're breaking up. I'm sorry, you're breaking up. Kevin, you're breaking up. One week break will be good. Okay. What about other guys? 1 week break, please. All right. Meaning I'm not giving you the week 5. I will not be enabling anything. I will just come back to you on week 4 in the next weekend. What do you guys think, Agatha? I know you want to move ahead. I can enable you week 5 if you want to. I can specifically enable week 5 to some of the students who wants to proceed further. But I will cover up week 4 again next weekend, so that I can bring everyone into the same page. Is that okay for everyone? Just give me a shout, please. Who wants to get the week 5? Just give me a shout, please. Keith, Agatha, Avril.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind. I think it's a good idea to kind of let everyone get up to speed. But if you could open week 5 as well.
Okay.
That's good as well.
Okay, fine. I can do that. I can do that.
I think same as Keith. I think it is good to get everyone and get caught up on classes as well. But I wouldn't mind week 5 being available either.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So perfect. Week 4 is what we will be discussing next week, but I am just going to enable week 5 for some of them. Right. So that's it for today then. Have a great weekend, guys, and get started sooner, please, with the training so that you can catch up, as Arup said, and everybody else is also doing that. So, all right, that's it for today, and I will put in the solution. Did I put in the solution for week 4? I think I didn't. I will be putting the week 4 solution as well, and let's come back next weekend. Okay. And by the way, guys, I'm going to send the email with respect to the payment information. Whoever is happy to continue, maybe by today or maybe by mid of the week, and then you can make the arrangements accordingly. And anyway, we'll talk next weekend. All right. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye bye.
Thanks, Civic.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Bye. Keith, do you want to stay back? Oh no, she left. That's fine.